Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Hi guys, welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking political and criminal power struggles in Port Charles history. The battle lines are drawn, and the fate of the city is at stake. A war is brewing between some of the most powerful players in town, and it's no longer just about money or influence, it's about survival. Stick around, because you won't believe the tangled web of deceit, betrayal, and ambition that's about to unfold. Drew Quartermaine's web of deception. A man playing with fire. Drew Quartermaine has always been a man of ambition, but his latest moves have taken him into dangerous territory, perhaps even beyond the point of no return. His political career has granted him a platform, but instead of using it for the good of the people, he's using it to further his own personal agenda. And the key to his strategy? A deeply manipulative and personal infiltration of Michael Corinthos' family. Michael's wife, Willow Corinthos, has been a pawn in Drew's game. To the outside world, he presents himself as a trustworthy figure, but behind closed doors, he is hiding devastating secrets from Willow while engaging in a secret affair with her mother, Nina Reeves. His personal betrayals are just the tip of the iceberg, though, because on a larger scale, he has aligned himself with one of the most dangerous men Port Charles has ever seen, Jens Sidwell. Sidwell's involvement in this growing crisis is no coincidence. He's a criminal mastermind, and his interest in Drew is purely transactional. Drew, blinded by his hunger for political power, may not realize just how much he's putting at risk. Sidwell is not the type of man who plays fair. He's ruthless, cunning, and absolutely determined to seize control of Port Charles by any means necessary. And make no mistake, if Sidwell gets his way, the city will fall into chaos. One of the most terrifying signs of Sidwell's growing influence was the recent bombing at Sonny Corinthos' penthouse. An attack that almost killed Michael. Many suspect Sidwell was behind it, and if that's true, it shows just how high the stakes have become. With an unchecked rise to power, Sidwell won't stop at small acts of violence. He'll turn Port Charles into his own empire of crime, and with Drew backing him in Congress, he'll have the political cover to do it without consequences. The clock is ticking. Will Port Charles fall into the wrong hands? Sidwell's plan is methodical, and he knows exactly how to get what he wants. If he solidifies his grip on Port Charles, the city will become a breeding ground for criminal activity. Drug trafficking, illegal weapons sales, and underground deals will become the norm, and law enforcement will be powerless to stop it. His alliance with Drew is the key to this. With a congressman in his pocket, Sidwell will have the leverage to operate in broad daylight, making it nearly impossible to take him down. But the people of Port Charles aren't going to let their city fall without a fight. Laura Collins and Jordan Ashford are working tirelessly behind the scenes to prevent Sidwell's rise. They know what's at stake, and they're pulling every string they can to shut him down before he gains an unshakable foothold. However, their challenge is immense. Sidwell is growing more powerful, and with Drew protecting him, he has access to political channels that keep him insulated from any real consequences. At the same time, Sonny Corinthos faces a difficult dilemma. The mob boss is no stranger to power struggles, but this time, the battle is different. He's not just fighting for his empire, he's fighting for his life. His recent health complications mean that any added stress could push him over the edge. A heart attack, a stroke, his body is on the brink, and yet he knows he can't afford to back down. The longer he waits, the stronger Sidwell becomes. But if he makes the wrong move, he might not live to see the outcome. Curtis Ashford, the unseen player who could change everything while Sonny, Laura, and Jordan are battling Sidwell head-on, Curtis Ashford is taking a different approach. Curtis understands Drew better than most, and that gives him an advantage. He knows that Drew isn't just a ruthless politician, he's a man who is willing to betray anyone to get what he wants. And that means he's vulnerable. Curtis has been working behind the scenes, gathering intel, forging alliances, and positioning himself as a key player in this war. He's already found a way to work around Drew, using his connections to get close to people who can disrupt Drew's influence in Congress. But Curtis isn't just playing defense, he's setting up an attack of his own. He knows that if he can expose Drew's betrayals and shady dealings, he can turn the tide of this conflict. However, time is running out. Drew is aware that Curtis is onto him, and if he feels threatened, there's no telling how he'll react. Will Curtis be able to strike before Drew finds a way to silence him? Or will Drew prove to be more dangerous than anyone anticipated? Drew's desperate grip on power, is he about to lose everything? Drew Quartermaine thinks he has the upper hand. He believes that his political influence will protect him, that his partnership with Sidwell will ensure his success, and that his betrayals will remain hidden. But the walls are closing in. Laura Collins is making moves that could dismantle his entire operation. Curtis Ashford is strategically placing himself in a position to take Drew down. And Sonny Corinthos, despite his failing health, isn't backing down. If Drew miscalculates even slightly, his whole world could come crashing down around him. And then there's Sidwell. While Drew sees him as an ally, the truth is far more sinister. Sidwell has no loyalty to Drew. The second Drew becomes a liability, Sidwell will cut him off without hesitation. And if that happens, Drew will be left with nothing. Not his political power, not his influence, and certainly not his protection. So the question remains, can Drew handle what's coming for him? Or has he set himself up for his own downfall? The final battle for Port Charles, who will win? As the conflict escalates, the future of Port Charles hangs in the balance. Drew and Sidwell are pushing their way toward absolute control, but they're facing increasing resistance from Sonny, Laura, Curtis, and Jordan. The city is at a tipping point, and the outcome of this power struggle will shape its future for years to come. Will Sonny find a way to stop Drew and Sidwell before it's too late? Or will Drew's ambition finally catch up to him, leading to his own destruction? One thing is certain, Port Charles is on the verge of an all-out war. And when the dust settles, only the strongest will be left standing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Drew too far gone to be saved, or is there a way for him to redeem himself? Will Sidwell succeed in taking over Port Charles? Next, we're diving deep into a shocking family secret that could shake the very foundation of Port Charles. A long-hidden truth is creeping to the surface, and when it finally explodes, the fallout will be devastating. We're talking about betrayals, hidden children, and a web of lies that has been quietly spinning for years. Let's break it all down. A secret that could shatter everything. Rena Sofer, who brilliantly portrays Lois Cerullo, recently dropped a major hint. Someone else might know the long-hidden truth about Brooke Lynn Chase and Dante Falconeri's secret child. For years, this bombshell has remained buried, but cracks are starting to form. Could it be that Lois hasn't been as tight-lipped as she thought? For those who aren't caught up, Lois has always been a fiery, outspoken force in Port Charles. She prides herself on being honest, sometimes brutally so, but this situation is different. This is a secret that could destroy lives, shatter relationships, and alter the Quartermaine family forever. If the truth about Brooke Lynn and Dante's child comes out, there will be no turning back. Did Lois really keep quiet? Or has the secret already slipped? Soap opera fans know that secrets rarely stay buried forever, and in Lois's case, it's highly likely that someone else already knows. The big question is, who? Sopher teased this possibility, reflecting on Lois's departure from Port Charles with Brooke Lynn. It was an escape, a desperate attempt to avoid the tangled mess of lies surrounding the Quatermain family. But was Lois really as careful as she thought? Sopher hinted that Lois has been riding a moral high horse for a long time, always quick to judge others for their lies and deceptions. Now, however, she's facing the harsh reality that she, too, is guilty of withholding the truth. The reason behind Lois's secrecy is clear: she wanted to protect her daughter and grandchild. But was it the right choice? And more importantly, did she really manage to keep it under wraps? Who else might know the truth? The most obvious candidate is Olivia Quatermain. She and Lois have been best friends for years, practically inseparable. It would make perfect sense for Lois to confide in Olivia about something so monumental. But there's a glaring problem: Olivia is Dante's mother. If Olivia did know, she would have wanted her son to be informed. No mother would stand by and allow her child to be kept in the dark about something so significant. And then there's Sonny Corinthos. Sonny is deeply connected to all the key players in this drama, and let's not forget, he financed Joe's college education. If he had any inkling about the boy's true parentage, wouldn't he have made sure Dante knew the truth? But there's one person who could be the missing piece of this puzzle: Gloria Cerullo. Lois's mother is a formidable woman, and if anyone has the inside scoop, it's her. Could Gloria be the one Rena Sopher was alluding to? Could she have been silently holding on to this secret, waiting for the right, or wrong, moment to reveal it? The Quatermain family scandal, a bomb waiting to explode. Family scandals are nothing new for the Quatermains, but this one could be their most explosive yet. The repercussions of this secret coming out could be catastrophic. Imagine Dante discovering out of nowhere that he has a son he never knew existed. Not only would he be furious with Lois, but he would also feel deeply betrayed by Brooke Lynn. They shared a past, a deep connection. How could she have hidden something so massive from him? And what about Brooke Lynn herself? She has built a life independent of this secret, and its exposure could unravel everything she has worked for. Will she fight to keep it buried, or will she finally come clean? A game-changing twist in Port Charles. Rena Sopher made it clear, when the truth finally comes out, the fallout will be brutal. She even went so far as to say, that reveal is going to be the worst. We're talking about multiple betrayals on an emotional level. Keeping something from Ned Quatermain or Olivia is one thing, but lying to a child who grew up trusting you? That's an entirely different level of heartbreak. When everything is finally laid bare, relationships will be broken, trust will be shattered, and the Quatermain family may never be the same again. And let's not forget, this is Port Charles. Every secret has a ripple effect, and this one could send shockwaves through the entire town. Final thoughts: what happens next? So, what do you think? Did Lois really keep the secret all to herself, or has someone else known all along? And when the truth finally comes out, how will Dante, Brooke Lynn, and the rest of the Quatermain family react? Next, we're diving into a huge development in Port Charles, one that has fans buzzing with excitement. Lucky Spencer is at a major crossroads in his life, and his choices could change everything. After years of wandering, heartbreak, and near-death experiences, is Lucky finally ready to settle down and rebuild his relationships? Let's break it all down. A new appreciation for family. The shift in Lucky Spencer. Lucky Spencer has always been a free spirit, a man torn between his sense of duty and his personal desires. He has spent years chasing causes, often prioritizing the needs of strangers over those closest to him. However, this time around, something feels different. One of the most touching moments since his return has been his deepened connection with his mother, Laura Collins. Lucky has always loved and respected Laura, but in the past, he has often been distant, both physically and emotionally. Now, though, things have changed. After waking from his coma, he admitted to Laura that seeing her in the hospital room brought him a sense of peace he hadn't felt in a long time. He even told her that no matter how old he gets, he will always need his mother. This simple yet powerful realization marks a shift in Lucky's perspective. He seems to finally grasp the importance of being present for the people who have always stood by him. Could this be the beginning of a more stable, grounded version of Lucky Spencer? Old flames, rekindled sparks. Is a reunion with Elizabeth on the horizon? If there's one thing fans have learned over the years, it's that Lucky Spencer and Elizabeth Baldwin share a connection that never truly fades. Their history is filled with love, heartbreak, and moments of undeniable chemistry. This time, however, things feel different. Lucky's approach has been gentle, respectful, almost as if he's rebuilding trust brick by brick. And perhaps that's why Elizabeth has slowly opened her heart to the possibility of something more. At first, Lucky had no expectations of rekindling a romance with Elizabeth. He was simply focused on healing, reconnecting with his son, and proving, through actions, not words, that he had changed. Yet, something unexpected happened. That slow, careful effort has reminded both of them of the magic they once had. Fans will remember their passionate love story from the late 90s, a time when their bond was unbreakable. That same warmth is bubbling beneath the surface once again. They may not be rushing into anything, but it's clear that old feelings are still there. With time, patience, and mutual understanding, could this be the start of something new, or rather, something beautifully familiar? A father's redemption, Lucky and Aiden's growing bond. For years, Lucky's relationship with his son, Aiden Weber, has been complicated. His absence left Elizabeth carrying the weight of parenthood alone, and over time, she grew fiercely protective of Aiden. She didn't want her son to experience the pain of disappointment, the way she had when Lucky repeatedly disappeared from their lives. But now, Lucky is showing up. Not just in words, but in actions. Since his return, he has made a genuine effort to connect with Aiden. He's learning who his son is, appreciating him for exactly who he has grown into, and making sure that Aiden feels valued. This careful, deliberate approach has softened Elizabeth's stance. At first, she watched from a distance, unsure if Lucky would stay. But as time has passed, she has seen something remarkable. Lucky isn't running away this time. He is staying, proving his love in the simplest and most profound ways. Their bond is growing, and for the first time in a long time, Aiden has a father who is truly present. Could this be the start of a stable, lifelong relationship between father and son? The near-death wake-up call, Lucky's struggle to survive. Of course, none of this would be happening if Lucky hadn't come terrifyingly close to losing his life. His past 6 months have been nothing short of brutal. First, he found himself entangled in a deadly poker game in Africa, with Jen Sidwell pulling the strings. The stakes? His life. He fought his way out, only to return to Port Charles and face yet another attempt on his life, this time from the ruthless Cyrus Renaud, who tried to kill him with a lethal dose of digitalis. Surviving both ordeals has forced Lucky to confront some hard truths. He has always seen himself as a man on a mission, someone who puts the greater good above personal desires. But what good is saving the world if you aren't there for the people who love you? Now, as he recovers, he faces a new challenge, figuring out what comes next. What's next for Lucky Spencer? Lucky has some serious decisions to make. His near-death experiences have opened his eyes, but will that be enough to keep him in Port Charles? His relationship with his mother has deepened, his bond with Aiden is growing stronger, and his connection with Elizabeth is slowly but surely reigniting. But will he choose to stay, or will the lure of adventure pull him away once again? For the first time in a long time, it seems like Lucky Spencer might finally be ready to put down roots. But in a town like Port Charles, nothing is ever certain. What do you think? Will Lucky and Elizabeth finally get their second chance? Will he fully embrace fatherhood and stay in Aiden's life for good? Or will he fall back into old patterns and leave it all behind?
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.